Food styling is making the food on film or television look as appetizing and eye-appealing and mouth-watering as you can, because you can't taste. Like any art, it takes some practice and takes training, and you have to know some techniques. You also have to have an eye for what looks good.
This is so exciting for me because I always thought, really, that at the end of the cooking shows, when they show the food complete, that it's the real thing, that they had finished it and put it there. And that's just a lot of crazy thinking.
Well, we use real food.
Yeah.
We just sometimes don't cook it all the way through.
Yeah.
We just want to make it look as attractive as we can. Sometimes
you're backstage usually?
I'm generally backstage on a television show, yes. Like on a morning talk show or something, yes.
Yeah.
And say, for instance, if you have to demonstrate one chicken, generally we'll make like 8 chickens just to show one, because they have to show a raw one, then they'll show a half-cooked one, then they have to take one, put it in the oven and pull one out of the oven, and then the host has to taste one, so that one has to be done.
Well, now you're going to show me a bunch of the techniques.
I thought I'd just show you some of the techniques that we do.
Yeah. Dan demonstrated his technique by preparing a turkey. He started with the stuffing, newspaper, upholstery pins, and glue hold it together.
And we put it in the oven at 450 degrees, but before we do that, we put some browning agent on it and spray it with browning agent and food coloring. So then you'll paint the turkey a little bit with some of the agent, and as it cooks, it's heat activated. So as it cooks, it gets browner and browner and browner. So we'll put this in an oven at 450 degrees for about 5 minutes.
So what's the secret to smoothing out those wrinkles? A blowtorch.
As you do this, you see the crinkles sort of go away?
Yeah.
And that tightens up the skin.
A spray of Pam completes the fresh from the oven look. Where did you learn to do this?
It's sort of self-taught. You sort of just see what people do and how they do it. There aren't that many schools really to teach you. I went to the Culinary Institute of America where they have a class, which I did take, but a lot of it you meet colleagues and see what they do, and you sort of learn it hands-on. It's a hands-on kind of art, I think. If you had the food on there,
but it's more than just the food. Picking the right accessories and thinking like a cameraman are essential.
Sort of do the food here. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll bend down and I'll do all my work here. So that way I'm looking at the food like the camera looks at it.
Yes, exactly.
Because otherwise you're always looking at it down, and that's not the way the camera's looking at it.
Yeah.
So you want to always sort of pretend like you're the camera. All right, next let's try grill marks, where you'll see the most juicy steak with grill marks on there. What we did is, I've already seared the steak real quick, but you can see there's still fat. And if you look on the other side, it's not cooked, it's raw on the other side.
Yeah.
So what I do is I take this again and cook the sides and brown the sides.
For camera-ready grill marks, Dan uses a charcoal starter.
And now you have grill marks.
A few strokes of oil and it's finished.
And when you choose your vegetables, shopping is a really important part about this job. And you want to cut your vegetables, you want to see these curves. These are called beauty curves. Because if you just saw, say if I just cut the pepper like this, that's not very interesting. But when you see this, it's more interesting, and it gives you more visual appeal to the food. Some of the most used techniques have to do a lot of times with the rules and regulations of what you have to do, and that is if you're selling a particular food, you have to use that food. So if you're selling ice cream, you have to use that product. So obviously it has to be real ice cream. But if you're selling pie where the ice cream is on top of, or an ice cream cone where you put the ice cream on top of, or chocolate sauce, then you can use fake ice cream.
The process is simple. Mix shortening, sugar, and corn syrup.
And then I end up, in this case, with white ice cream, just a pile of white ice cream, and in this case, chocolate ice cream. And that will sit there for months. Nothing will happen, and so you can be under the hottest lights in the world, and you'll still have a beautiful scoop of ice cream. So next we're going to move on to pizza. And pizza is sort of actually one of those difficult things because you've seen those shots where there's just a beautiful piece of pizza with cheese all attached to it pulled. So I'm going to show you how to do that. We call it the pizza pull.
The perfect pizza pull begins with a specially prepared spatula with thumbtacks to hold the slice in place. Add sauce and cheese carefully placed to maximize stretching action. Then brush on a browning agent.
Then I take what's a wallpaper remover. It's very, very hot. So then I take this and I put this to the pizza and pull that up like that. And that's sort of the delicious yumminess of a pizza. It might take 3 hours.
I was
to get the
just
perfect
going to ask
one.
you, yeah.
It might take. Other times you might get it on the first take, but again, then they'll do, let's do a close-up.
Yeah.
Let's do a wide shot.
Right.
Let's do it with people on it. And again, you have to do that every single time.
Right.
And so it's a lot of work.
It's tedious. Right?
It is tedious. But it's an art, I guess.
Yes,
huh?
of course it's an
Yes.
art.
And then last, we'll do an apple pie with, if you look at it closely here, it's filled with mashed potatoes. I just took some instant mashed potatoes and filled it up because if you make a real apple pie, there will be a big air bubble in there, so you have to be careful. And you take the apples, cut a little of the apples on the side, and fill in on the mashed potatoes with the apple pie. And again, we only care about what the camera looks at. We don't really care about the rest. Your creativity is always going. The challenging part is the challenge itself and making sure that the product and the food looks great every single time.